In June 2016, Marshalls Motor Holdings plc strengthened its position in the motor sector with the acquisition of Ridgeway Group, which they bought for a cool £106.9 million. I interviewed Marshalls Chief Executive Daksh Gupta to find out just what the takeover means for corporate customers in Oxfordshire. So Daksh, following the acquisition of Ridgeway Group this summer, perhaps you could give our viewers some background to your company Marshalls.
Sure. So we are Marshall Motor Holdings plc. We in fact listed on the stock exchange in April 2015, but in fact we've got a lot more history than that. In fact, in October of this year we'll be 107 years old. We were set up in Cambridge in 1909, so we've got a long history within the space.
So what made Ridgeway a good fit for your company?
Okay, well, hopefully viewers will have the opportunity to see the slide that we've got, which shows really where Marshall were represented prior to the acquisition, where Ridgeway were represented, and what that meant for the organisation with the two organisations coming together. So prior to the acquisition, you can see that the core Marshall businesses were in 19 counties throughout the UK, and you can see on the middle slide that actually Ridgeway was represented in 6 counties towards sort of home counties to the west of London. As you can see, with the two businesses coming together, that effectively means that the enlarged group now is represented across some 25 counties, and I think from a strategic fit perspective it couldn't have been better. So Ridgeway partnered with 11 core manufacturers, 10 of which whom Marshall were already partnering with. The only exception that we didn't partner with was with Mercedes commercials, but we do have a relationship with them previously with Mercedes-Benz passenger cars. And you can see there with the map what that's done for the group. I mean, you can see we've gone from 81 business units now to 121 businesses, but in particular you can see where the brand overlap works really well. So with Audi, for example, you can see Ridgeway had 2 businesses. As part of the enlarged group now there are now 9. Another example there you can see with JLR, there were originally just 2 businesses for Ridgeway, that now with the enlarged group will go to 12, and we've got plans to open a new JLR dealership in Newbury next year, which means we'll have some 14 JLR businesses. With Mercedes we've more than doubled the representation, same with Volkswagen as well. So actually from a strategic fit it's better than perfect.
What does the Marshalls takeover mean for the corporate customers, such as the fleet managers and the company car drivers in Oxfordshire?
Well, I think it's good news for them. I think as a business next year, the group will sell over 20,000 vehicles to fleet customers up and down the country. So I think that probably gives you a sense that we're very experienced at handling this. I think the other interesting thing is when you consider Ridgeway previously was representing principally with the German and British premium brands, actually they didn't have representation with volume franchises. So a lot of these drivers will be driving other vehicles outside of these brands. Of course, as I said, Ridgeway partnered with 11 manufacturers. Actually, the enlarged group, Marshall partners with 25. So there's a choice benefit there for customers, because clearly, if a customer wanted to buy a Vauxhall or a Ford within the Ridgeway businesses, of course, Ridgeway couldn't supply those. Now being part of the enlarged group means we can supply those. Equally, from a choice perspective, if I give the example, say for example with Audi, previously there were 2 Audi businesses for Ridgeway. The enlarged group now is has 9, and in fact the enlarged group will sell about 7% of all the Audis in the UK, and ultimately that large scale and that large pool of stock means we can offer more choice for drivers, which has got to be good news.
Apprenticeships is a hot topic with the government levy coming into force in May 2017. What opportunities are going to be available to young people across Marshalls?
Well, it's a bit of a soft spot for me. In fact, I started in the industry 23 years ago, trying to go wind the clock back there as a trainee salesperson. And in fact, I was washing cars as a student, which is how I got my association with the industry, really. So I think it's a great industry. It's very much misunderstood, and I think we're involved in professional retail. I think when you look at the facilities in which we operate, and certainly that's the case within the Ridgeway portfolio, there's some outstanding facilities there. The career path for young people within this sector is truly unbelievable. I think when you consider some of our management positions, particularly line manager and above, they're paid incredibly well, 40, 50, 60,000, and onto senior management roles, 6-figure packages. The career opportunities are immense, and actually you don't have to have qualifications. What you need is a good attitude and ambition to succeed. So I think certainly apprentices is something that we are very keen on as an organisation. In fact, we have over 100 across our group today, and that's something we're continually investing in. In fact, tomorrow our company apprentice awards where we'll be presenting the top performing apprentices with sort of apprentice of the year and sort of giving them the recognition. So it's something we're keen on. I think the apprentice levy for us next year is about £600,000 as an organisation, so quite a sizable investment for us, and certainly we will continue to support that moving forward.
So it's looking as though the future is very exciting for Marshalls.
Yeah, I think it's clearly an exciting future for the company. I mean, the company in the last 8 years has grown from 300 million to next year in a full year 2.3 billion. We've grown from sort of 600 people to 4,100, and I think the Ridgeway acquisition really has been the highlight of that 8 years, and it's been truly transformational for our business. So next year we've got a market forecast to deliver revenues, as I said, about 2.3 billion, but that will come with a profit around about 31 million, cash generating 47 million pounds. So certainly for us next year, from a company perspective, is going to be very exciting because it sort of unlocks the full year impacts of that. But it's not just about the company, it's about what it means for customers as well. As I said, the two businesses coming together ultimately is going to mean more choice for customers, because we're going to have a bigger pool of stock to sell from, and in particular for Ridgeway, effectively their stock's been trebled overnight. So for customers within those existing Ridgeway areas, that's got to be good news. But I also think it's good news for our people. I mean, I know Ridgeway employed 1,300 people. They're now part of an organisation with over 4,000 colleagues, and that ultimately means that they've got a better opportunity of developing their career. Clearly, that's just a case of numbers. You are going to have more management positions in a bigger organisation, which means you're going to have better opportunities to develop your career. So I think for the company, for customers and for colleagues, it's good news all round.